Hi, everybody. So, I wanted to talk about the energy this week. We had a new moon in Virgo on Saturday, and there's a little bit of excitement between how we want to do things and our goals. So, we may feel like an influx of too many ideas, and then how to get those things organized. Virgo wants us to be constructive, wants us to build, wants us to clear the clutter and I have this image because it's harvest time of taking the husks off of corn and just getting rid of all the stuff that's not the corn. And that's really what Virgo's trying to do is to separate things into their exact quantities and then put things back together in a better way than they were before, or use them to build something that's constructive, or use them to drop the blueprints for what you want next. And that's like the blueprint for the architecture. But it's very constructive energy. It wants to be productive. It wants to not be too scattered. But there is an energy of scatter this week a little bit, just because there's going to be, I just have this image of Mars in Gemini just revving the engine. Gentlemen, are we ready to go? Ready to hit the gas pedal? So, but this new moon really wants something constructive to come of all of that stuff that's being stirred up, all the ideas. And Mars and Gemini is like butterflies. It's like it's over here and over there and over here and over there. But I thought you said this. No, I said this. No, it's this way. Let's listen to this person. Let's go to this source. So it's a little frenetic. And so you may find yourself feeling a little bit like, well, how do I stay focused this week? And because there's a lot of sort of mutable and changeable and flexible and not quite solid energy in the air. It's a great time to practice some of the body centered tools that will help your brain stay connected to what you want. And yesterday we did the workshop on freedom from worry, anxiety, and stress. And one of the things I talked about there is that when we're too glued to technology and we're not using our body the way that God designed it, like walking, breathing the air, having some variety in our schedule, but if we're just glued to a screen the whole time, our brain doesn't really work properly anymore. The two sides don't talk to each other anymore, and they feel very separated, and the energy's not crossing over. And when that happens, we are not fluid with ourselves. We're not connected to ourselves. We don't know why we're doing something. We're not feeling connected to the result. We're feeling disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from others. And we can even see life or others as against us when we are not connected. And one of the simplest tools I can give you is any kind of crossover technique. I feel like I tell these all the time. You can do something called the cross crawl, which is marching in place and then touching your opposite hand to the opposite knee for about a minute. And that helps all of the connections in your brain to be made, so that you're then the right and left hemispheres are going, oh, I get it. Okay, here's this creative idea. Okay, this is how this is implemented. Oh, but let's draw from here. Okay, good. Let's do that. And I could draw that. So you see how we need all of ourselves in order to create, a bigger life, or a juicier life, if you like. And also a life that doesn't feel full of stress, something, a life that feels unified somehow, where you feel coherent with yourself. And I'm saying this because this is happening to everyone. Everybody is getting these jolts. And it's either a jolt of, I feel disconnected from my life as it is right now, and I don't know exactly how to change it. But there are these whispers coming from a part of you that you also have to integrate and find a way to make practical. And I think this ties in a little bit with the left and right hemisphere of the brain. If you do get a bright idea or a light bulb moment, um, find a way to integrate that in your life, even if you don't know how it fits. It could be like just these random ideas. Sometimes I talk to clients and they're like, I always have this whisper that I'm supposed to be doing this, but it's totally not what I'm doing. And there's a way to bring just a little bit of that in so that you can begin to work your way toward that. This is a time to be open to new ideas and to find a way, even if you're just pulling a thread of that idea into what you're currently doing, that's going to bring you into a more unified space. So this can be through classes, it can be through groups, it can be through connecting with the ideas that others present to you that you're like, that's an interesting idea. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to integrate that. But just remember that there's a part of your mind that is much bigger than this mind and wants to bring in an idea that will evolve things for you in your life, that will bring your goals closer to you more quickly. And it's probably not thinking of things in the old ways. We're all being guided into new avenues right now and new expressions and new ways of doing old things or finding a higher expression for your life in one or more areas. So I know this is speaking to you in one or more areas of your life that you may feel stuck or stagnant. And this new moon in Virgo is really very constructive, even if it feels a little frenzied. This is really a time to not feel like you have to go everything alone. And it's a time where people feel like I'm the only one in my space. I'm the only one having this issue and I've got to sort through it on my own. Well, no, you don't. You don't. Find a teacher, find somebody who's offering information that you can use and allow that information to work with your higher mind to create solutions that are higher for your life. I think this is an incredible time for getting unstuck. And I love that it's harvest time. Even though it's the new moon, it's also the harvest season. So look at what harvest you would like to have even in the next 2 weeks and or 6 months, because that's when the ultimate harvest for this new moon comes. But also in 2 weeks, like what evidence do you want to see for what you're working on? And as always, I say, when you're working on a goal, does it expand your life or does it contract you? And so you get to feel into that and decide what's true for you. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your insights and how the new moon feels to you. How does all this mental energy in the atmosphere feel to you? Let me know, and I will see you next time.